Okay, this is video 2 for the test on January 22nd, 2023. Here we are going to Daf Chavav Amud Aleph in Sukkah, continuing where we left off. Let's find the place. Hold on a second. Here we go. Tanu Rabbanan, right over here. Tanu Rabbanan. Hochet drachim bayom. If one is going on a trip during the day. Now, we said Hochet drachim comes, we learned a lot of times, Pasukot Teshvu Shavat Yamim. You have to dwell in the sukkah for 7 days. And we said Teshvu Ke'ein Taduro. You have to dwell in the sukkah the same way you would normally live at home. When you normally live at home, you go out, you go places, you do things. And no one says you have to be sitting in your home 24/7. So the same thing is true on Sukkot, that if you're Holech Baderech, you can go. Now, this Holech Baderech, according to some, is if you need to go. Just doesn't mean because I just want to go. According to others, it's a little bit broader. But we generally assume that someone has to go to visit somebody, someone has to go for business purposes. So bayom. So if you're traveling all day, p'turim ben sukkah bayom, because that's what you normally do if you were at home and you were traveling during the day. You just travel and you eat lunch on the go wherever you would eat lunch, and you don't have to go ahead searching for sukkah. But when you come at night to wherever you're staying, then already you have to go ahead and eat in the sukkah. And if you're traveling overnight, you're patur from sukkah, you're exempt from sukkah when you're traveling. When you come to a resting place during the day, you have to sit in sukkah. If you're going straight overnight, you're taking a train or a plane for a very long trip. So then you're patur any which way. Now, Holech L'Dvar Mitzvah is a little bit different. So that means I'm going during the day, and at night I'm coming to a place where conceivably I could go ahead and start searching for a sukkah because I'm resting overnight. But my purpose in going is the Dvar Mitzvah, Peturim Bein Bayom Uvein Balayla. Then Ha'osek Mitzvah, Petur Min Mitzvah kicks in, according to this particular Tanah, and therefore I don't have to be in a sukkah neither during the day when I'm traveling or at night when I'm resting. And the Gemara tells a story to back this up. Ki hadra Rachista Rabba Barafuna, like the story of Rachista and Rabba Barafuna, Ki havu aili b'shabsad ragla, when they would go up on the Shabbos of the Regal, Shabbos Cholamayid, the Bey Reish Galuta, they go visit the head of the Galut. That was a very powerful person in the society of Bavel. And they would go visit him on the Moed. Havu Ganu, they would go and sleep, a Raksa de Surah, on the beaches of Surah. That's what they would go to sleep. In other words, they wouldn't go into a sukkah. Amrikus, they said, we're on a mitzvah mission to go ahead and to visit the Reish Galuta on Sukkot, or on Pesach. Sukkot is a mitzvah mission, ufturin, and therefore ha'osek ba'mitzvah, potur mitzvah, and we need not be in a sukkah at all. Tanu Rabbanan, the next thing the rabbis taught, Shomrei ha'ir bayom. If somebody is guarding the city and has to be, at the guard and at the ready, so during the day when he's on guard duty, he doesn't have to go looking for sukkah, he has to guard the city. But again, at night when he's finished, he has to sit in sukkah. And if you have the night shift, then you need not sit in a sukkah at night. You got to be guarding the city. But during the day, you have to sit in sukkah. And if you have a shift that goes 24 hours, and you just have short breaks, however it works, but you're on duty, so then you're on duty, and that's the same way if you were in a house and you're on guard duty, you'd be outside the whole time. Same thing here, you need not go ahead and start looking for sukkah. Here I'm not watching the city, but I'm watching over fields, I'm watching over apple orchards, or what have you. Pturim bein bayom uvein balayla. So apparently these people would, stay out in the fields and they would sleep out in the fields, and therefore they were on all the time, and therefore they need not find the sukkah whether during the day or the night. So the Gemara says, "So adi sukkah hatam." Why can't they build the sukkah where they are? They know they're going to be there the whole Chol Hamoed. They should have to build the sukkah and sit in the sukkah wherever they are. Why do we go ahead and just let them off the hook like this? Abaye says, Teishvu ke'ein tazuru. It's the same idea that if I was in my house and I had this job to go out to the pardes, I'd go out to the pardes and I'd be there for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and then eventually come back home. But as long as I'm in the pardes, I don't come running home, so I don't have to come running for sukkah. Rava says the different reason. He says no, that there's no Teshu Kain Toduru here because that could be your home. In other words, you're going to be there. You could conceivably build a sukkah there. What's the problem? This is a different issue. Parts of Karol Ganav. Go ahead and tell the Ganav where the hole in the fence is. Notice if your job is to go ahead and to watch the fields, you can't be inside a sukkah because you're inside a sukkah. The Ganav's just going to walk in and steal what he's supposed to steal. You got to be out there. And therefore, according to Rava, that's the reason why we don't have you put up a sukkah, because you won't be able to do your job efficiently. My benayu, what's the difference between Abai's answer, the Teshuke and Toduro, and the same way I would go out from my house without a sukkah in the fields, I do the same thing on sukkahs. And Rava's reason, because he says, you could really build a sukkah out there, but you're going to be a bad guard. There is a difference between them to come mintar karya depiri. If you're watching over a silo, it's not over a large area. You're watching just over a building. You could have a sukkah at the entrance of the building and do a very, very fine job. So according to Abaye, you still patur. Teshu came to do the same way that during the year you would not necessarily build yourself any sort of hut outside the silo. You just stand outside or lie outside, whatever you would do, so you don't have to find the sukkah. Rabbi says, no, when you're going out there and you know you're going to be there for the whole week, build the sukkah. And as long as you're not going to compromise your job, and if you're supposed to watch the silo, you could do it from inside the sukkah. Cholim umisham shehem. So learns in the Mishnah that a cholet, someone who's sick, as well as their attendants, need not sit in the sukkah. Tunur Rabbanan. So the rabbis learn cholet she'amru. This cholet, as described in the Mishnah, lo cholet sheyesh bo sakana. We're not talking about someone whose life is in danger. We say, okay, you don't have to sit in the sukkah. Ela afilu cholet she'ein bo sakana. Even if someone's just sick, it's not life threatening at all. It's just uncomfortable. He need not sit in the sukkah. Afilu chash be'einav. Even if just his eyes are hurting him. Even if he has a headache. Once I had my eyes were hurting me, and I was in the city of Caesarea. Rav Yossi Berebi Lishon Ani Mishum Shaychos Sukkah. Rav Yossi Berebi said, go ahead and you can sleep outside of the sukkah, and your attendants sleep outside the sukkah because you're a cholat. Rav allowed Rav Acha Bardala was his name, the Magna Bechilsa B'Sukkah, to go ahead and to sleep in a bed with a canopy on top of it, I guess with netting in the sukkah. Even though if you're such a bed, again the top, the canopy is being chotzeitz is separating you from the schach. You're not really in the sukkah, but he said you're allowed to. Why mishum buki? Because of the mosquitoes. Again, because you're going to be mitzta'er. This is a little bit different than choleh, but it's the same mitzta'er. Rava, Sharulela Rabbi Acha Bar Ada, Rava allowed Rabbi Acha Bar Ada Lemigna to sleep bar mitzalel. It's outside of the sukkah. Mishum sircha degragisha. Apparently, the ground had a certain odor to it, which wasn't pleasant. And again, that was going to be mitzta'er. Rava Latame, Rava, who's allowed Rav Acha Bar Ada to sleep outside the sukkah, is going according to his reasoning. To Amar Rava, mitzta'arim patur men sukkah. Excuse me, mitzta'er patur men sukkah. When you're uncomfortable, you need not sit in the sukkah. This is uncomfortable. So Gemara says, Anan tanan cholin umisham shehem paturim men sukkah choleh in mitzta'er lo. Didn't we learn in the Mishnah that a choleh and their attendants are allowed to be out of the sukkah? Where do you come up with mitzta'er patur men sukkah? That's if you're choleh, if you're sick. If you're just a little bit uncomfortable, who told you that you don't have to sit in the sukkah? So it actually sounds from the Mishnah, only a choleh is not allowed, does not have to sit in the sukkah, but a mitzta'er does. So he says, Amri, so we'll explain. Choleh, when it comes to a sick person, who misham shabturim. The Mishnah is talking about someone who's choleh because not only is the choleh, the sick person patur, but also is the tendees. Mitzta'er, when it comes to someone who's uncomfortable, who patur? The person himself is uncomfortable. can sit inside. Misham Shav, but those people that normally would attend to him, whoever it is, lo, they're not allowed to sit inside. They have to go outside. It's only the Matzta'er himself who is Patur Min HaSukkah. Okay, that was great. See you soon for number 3.